All right, today we're gonna be unboxing the brand new M5 iPad Pro and do some brief comparisons to the M4. Mostly just gather my first impressions on this new device from Apple. Doesn't look very new. The box looks exactly the same. In fact, if I just put my M4 back in the box and told you guys I was unboxing the M5, you probably wouldn't even notice. Still think those are probably some of the most satisfying pull tabs that any box has ever had. Been a minute since I've seen this iPad Pro in space black, so yeah, that looks good. Still ridiculously thin, thinner than the iPhone Air for all those iPhone Air fans out there. The iPad still has you beat. Yeah, looks really good. I think it does look a little cleaner without the iPad Pro text on there and all like the codes and stuff like that. I think that looks a little nicer and no serial number and stuff. Very nice looking iPad Pro. And unlike iPhones, you still get you get a color matched USB-C cable, which I don't believe you get that for any black iPhones out there or anything. And a not so color matched brick, but you still get a power brick in the box, unlike with an iPhone. This is a 20 watt, it says it on the back here. You can read that. That's a little disappointing, only for the fact that this iPad Pro actually has fast charging now, but you need like a 60 watt or so power brick to do that. So giving a 20 watt means you're not gonna, out of the box at least, experience any of that fast charging. And I'm glad that they at least include a power brick. As far as paperwork, Apple literally just has this one thin piece of paper of a quick start guide. That's it. No, nothing else in here. In fact, this packet seems really oversized for what is in here. That's the unboxing of the 11-inch space black M5 iPad Pro. Although if I did get a higher storage configuration and got the Nano-Texture screen, that little pouch that had almost nothing in it would have also contained a microfiber cloth, just like my previous 11-inch iPad Pro came with. On the right, you get to see the M4 iPad Pro. This has been my iPad for over a year and a half now. And yeah, it says iPad Pro on the back and designed by Apple in California, assembled in China. And then it gives a model number and a serial number. So all that is no longer on the M5, and that is the only physical change. As you can see, you have the exact same. The previous M4 came in space black as well, and then the screens are different only because this has Nano-Texture, which has gotten very smudged up. Look at that. It's the worst part about the Nano-Texture screen. It is a fingerprint magnet. And then here is the glossy new iPad screen. So even from here, you can just see the amount of reflection. Like this is just showing the iPhone up there. It's filming it, and hey, there I am. And then this, in comparison, you can't see. You can just see like a little bit of the light just being dispersed throughout the screen, but no actual like mirror effect or anything like that. So that is a pretty incredible difference. If you guys don't think that Nano-Texture makes a difference, or some people out there are saying it's not really that big of it's pretty substantially different. They're actually etching the glass itself to make no reflections on here. So it is a really anti-glare screen. Does it have only upsides? No, there are some downsides, but overall it is a fantastic screen. And I don't really have regrets for getting that on the M4. All right, let's actually power on the M5. And these have the exact same displays, nothing changed there. In fact, so little changed that here's the Magic Keyboard from the M4. It's also a little dirty here, but it will work. We can literally take the M5 and slap it right on the Magic Keyboard. And it fits just perfectly because the size has not changed. And you know what? I'm fine with that because I don't really need to buy all new accessories, and that's kind of a great thing. I'm just gonna go through some of the initial setup here. I prefer my appearance to be as small as possible. I like to maximize the screen space on the iPad if I can. I don't know why, but now that I have a phone with such thin bezels, this screen bezels almost looks really chunky to me. But you know, that's almost every tablet is at least this thick of bezels. So now it prompted me for a software update, so I am doing that quick. And then we'll get into these iPads a little bit and compare a few more things. I don't want to go super in depth in this video. This is just all first impressions. And so far it is what I thought. That means it's not a huge upgrade from the M4, and Apple didn't advertise it to be. It's not like I went into this with the expectation that I'm just gonna be blown away by the M5 iPad Pro. It's a chip upgrade that probably most apps haven't even updated to take advantage of yet, but it's still a better processor and the same iPad that I use and love. So we'll find all the differences and see if there's even anyone who should consider upgrading from the M4. My guess is most people who have that one shouldn't, but if you have an older iPad and you're thinking, do I get a used M4 iPad Pro or do I get a brand new M5? That might be the kind of person who wants to see these comparisons, because if it is actually a pretty decent performance increase, you might just want to spend a little extra and get the brand new one versus saving 100 or 200 and getting a used one. Some of you may not have been surprised that the Apple first-party keyboard case still works with this one, but I know some of you out there were like, okay, but what about like other folio or cases for the M4 iPad Pro? Would they work for the M5? Absolutely. This is Moff's dynamic folio. Again, these are the exact same bodies of devices. They are the exact same. There's nothing different about them. Now, all my accessories are colored for my white iPad Pro, so and that's the only thing that's throwing me off here. These don't match too well, but they all work. I don't need to go buy any new accessories or anything like that. And the Apple Pencil Pro works with this one too. There's no new Apple Pencil generation for this iPad, which again, I think is a good thing because they didn't change a lot. So why do we arbitrarily need to make the design different just so all the accessories have to change? Let's just not do that. All right, I'm gonna set up Face ID quick. Interesting that the iPad setup still needs 2 scans, where the iPhone has only needed 1 now. Now signing into everything. Set up Apple Intelligence. Yes! I want to summarize everything. I want the worst summaries you can give me. I love how everything's in beta still. How long has it been since Apple Intelligence has been out? Over a year now? Still everything's in beta? That is progress. How's the weather? Send a message. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Get directions home. Play some music. I do quite enjoy the sound effects to that setup, actually. I love how right when I launched the iPad for the first time, I get things asking permission to use my location. It's my favorite part. What I'm actually kind of curious about is what version did it actually update me to? So it is 26.0.1, which I think is what my iPhone's on, or something like 2. I think that's the latest release. So there's nothing like new that they released alongside this iPad yet that I can tell, at least. This is the brand new M5 iPad Pro, all set up, and it's a beautiful iPad. I have no complaints about the design. I have no real complaints about the screen here or anything like that. It's all great, but obviously it's not much different than last year. Besides, obviously, that I have a Nano-Texture screen on this one and not that one. But again, that's not a generational change. That is just a spec difference. That's not much to say about this new iPad. We can quickly open the camera, I suppose, and just check to see if the selfie camera looks like it got any better or any better microphone or video quality. So this is a video test of the selfie camera, the center stage camera on the iPad Pro, and the microphones on this is the M5 iPad Pro. And let me know if it sounds any different from the M4 iPad Pro, which you'll hear right about now. This is a test of the M4 iPad Pro with its built-in microphones and its front-facing camera. So again, if you see any visual or hear any audio differences between these two devices, please let me know. I expect them to be exactly the same. That is this M5 iPad Pro. The unboxing first impressions is I love it because I'm familiar with it and it's my iPad that I've had for a year and it's been great. But I'm gonna have to actually start testing out specific apps and functions that way, but I will save that for the comparison video between these two devices because otherwise why am I even making that video if I'm gonna do it all here? So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time with this, let it get all my apps downloaded and everything like that, and then we'll start running some tests on here. I'm not probably gonna do much of the benchmarks, maybe some simple ones, because I know a lot of benchmarks are already out there for this iPad. They even leaked. People kind of know that it's 40% better GPU, 10, 20% better CPU, stuff like that. That's kind of known, but which apps are going to take advantage of that? And that's what we have to find out. So I'll be testing DaVinci Resolve, probably Final Cut Pro, Shaper 3D, maybe a couple other 3D modeling apps, and then maybe even open Procreate and test out some of that kind of stuff there too. And this one has 12 gigabytes of RAM, but because I spec'd up my M4, it's at 16. So we can kind of do a 12 versus 16 RAM comparison as well and see if you should go for the higher 16, if you should just go for 12, or maybe get a used one and get an M4 with 8 because neither of the RAMs seem to make much of a difference. I don't know, we'll put all that to the test. I'm just speculating at this point, but first impressions, again, same iPad, different chip. So please, if you have the M4, don't upgrade to the M5. This isn't that video. This is only for those looking of which one out of these two to buy. That's what I'm making these videos for. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and comment which iPad you think you would get if you had neither of them, and which one you're looking to buy if you're on the search for an iPad, and if you are okay with even buying used iPads. I kind of am curious about how many of you out there are like, no, I have to have a brand new one, or you're good with a used one. Let me know. And of course, subscribe to the channel. It really does help us grow and be able to reach more people and make more videos and buy more iPads to compare and see differences between them. I gotta love to be able to pick up a 13-inch too and do a new size comparison video, but I cannot do that at this point. But if you keep subscribing, maybe we will get to that point where we can have all the different models to compare. As always, if you're curious about my setup at all, it's all gonna be linked in the description down below so you can set up something similar for yourself. And as always, guys, have a great rest of your day.